that noise. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about why the Porsche 718 Cayman GTS is the best Porsche you can buy for your first sport. We'll keep it in. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about why the Porsche Cayman 718 GTS 2.5 litre is the best option for your first sports car. Guys, welcome back to the channel. This is off course. Laura's actually busy today, so she's not sat in the car with me. But why is this the best Porsche you can buy? Why is it the best entry sports car you can buy? You see, I've had this now for 6.5, 7 months. And for me, it's brought out the proper love of cars for me. It's brought out what I wanted it to do. I find it fun. I'm going to work at the moment. We're going to the golf course to film some videos for our YouTube channel. So if you don't know me, guys, my name's James Robinson and I'm a PGA golf professional. I'm hoping I've got everything. I think I have. But it makes this journey fun. It makes it worthwhile. It makes it so that it doesn't just feel like a monotonous journey up to the golf course, which sometimes it could be. I'm going to stop over in a minute, talk you around the car and talk you why exactly I love it so much, and also a few things what maybe could improve, what I might have spec'd on it that I haven't spec'd on it. This is the manual box. Let's pay attention here. This is the manual box, so for me it's the funner of the cars, you could say. Didn't opt for PDK because I fancied the manual stick. When I bought this was a second car. It was never going to be a daily driver. It was never going to be a car that I smashed loads and loads of miles on. And you can hear me saying was never going to be a car and wasn't ever going to be this, because not nice for a van driver to let you through, because that's exactly what it is now. You'll see on a video that I put on the channel a few days ago, the daily driver, the X4 M40i, that's gone. That went a long time ago. The residuals on that were that high that I just couldn't see a point in keeping it. And sometimes when a deal is that good, it was my right of way there, not you. And sometimes when a deal is that good, you've just got to take it. So I got out of that, got a good price for it, and we've been driving this daily, like literally all the time to work. We've had the roof box on it and it's been great. So what exactly is so good about this car, and why is it better for me than the 4 litre naturally aspirated GTS that you could have got? First thing is the price. So this was about probably £30,000 cheaper than the 4 litre naturally aspirated. Now obviously that's a lot of money, and I don't feel like I would have enjoyed the 4 litre 30,000 more or 30,000 times more, if that makes sense to you all. I love this one. It does make an alright sound. You heard when I started it up, that sounds okay. We are in Sport Plus mode, which I generally prefer because you do get a bit of that noise. Obviously the naturally aspirated engine of the 4 litre would be better. It would be a little bit meatier, but I hope nothing's coming the other way. It's quite a narrow road. But I just don't see it being worth that money. It's not really any faster. It's obviously going to be a lot less economical on fuel. And that brings me to a good point, which I think we'll discuss here. Like I said, we're on our way to work, but we've got time, I think, so. Now, the first thing that everyone said to me when I was buying a Porsche is, James, a Porsche is no good for you. You're a golfer, you're a golf pro. You're never going to get everything in the car. So, yeah, it's not the biggest car. I definitely do use the roof box that we bought sometimes, but if I'm on my own, that's fine. That's a full set of golf clubs in there, in a pencil bag. The driver and the 3-wood go up there, shoes go in there, cap goes there, towel goes there, and that is absolutely fine. I don't need to worry about that at all. I come around the front of the boot, and this is why it's probably one of the better sports cars for this, because obviously you're saying, yes, you have camera equipment, you have bags, you have tripods, you have all that. They go in there, and again, that is absolutely fine. Now, the look of the car, unless you really are a massive Porsche fan, you won't be able to tell me really that that isn't the 4 litre naturally aspirated. Unless you look at the exhaust tips there, yes, there's 2 of them, but on the 4 litre they are split either side of the rear diffuser. And if you really look at it, it would have GTS 4.0 on the wheel arch there. For me, this was certainly one of the best looking Porsches that I was looking for at the time. And again, for the price, which is a massive thing when you're buying your first sports car, I didn't want to waste any money. I don't feel like I have really. And another reason for me why this is such a good buy for your first sports car is the warranty. So you do get a 2-year warranty on all used Porsches if you get them from an authorised Porsche dealer, which is massive, because if anything does go wrong, like you saw in the videos, there was a little problem with my exhaust that got fixed under warranty by Porsche themselves, and I couldn't really complain with it. Sometimes if you're left without a car for a while, it would be quite upsetting, especially if you're paying quite a high monthly price, which you could be doing for such a car. Let's jump back in and let's see exactly, well, in fact I haven't showed you my favourite bit yet. And a lot of people might think this is sad, but it's always up, it's always up. It's the little things that make such a huge difference. Right, now she's ready, let's jump back in and I'll talk you through maybe what I would change in the car. Most of the things that I do like about this car or dislike are actually on the inside. The first thing is this. It's an improvement, I think, on the last one, but it's not quite the best. Now, I can hook it up with this bad boy to Apple CarPlay. That makes it miles better. That's your standard Google Apple CarPlay, and it's fantastic. I absolutely love the Race Tech steering wheel, the Race Tech side panels here, mind all my receipts, and the roof lining, which is also Race Tech. That's my iPhone, but this is all the Race Tech lining. That's basically like Alcantara, but I think it's a little bit cheaper, which is fine because I don't particularly mind that. One thing that I hate in here is the handbrake. Not only because of the noise it makes, but it always gets me to pull it or push it. It's down there and it's not quite, it doesn't make any sense to me, that handbrake. Like, for me, I would push it to turn it off and pull it to put it on, and it's not, it's the other way around. So for me, that doesn't quite make as much sense as it should do. And another thing that really annoys me is if you have been driving any speed and you want to get into the boot, you're going to reach up here. Right, now that's the exhaust right in the middle, which is quite hot. I'd touch it, but it's still quite hot. Now these are my shins. So you're either going to get black on your trousers or 2 rings on each shin, which isn't that nice really. But apart from that, I can't quite think of many more things to moan about this car. I might make a video, 5 things I hate about my Porsche, because they generally do well in search and things like that. So consider that upcoming. But apart from that, let's get back on the road, because the real fun is the driving of this. So get out of there. Right, belt up. What would I change? There's a few things that do annoy me, like the rear boot. That takes some proper slamming down, so sometimes you feel like you're going to break it if you slam it down. You don't like doing that when it's a nice car. And then if it doesn't close properly, you have to proper push it down with your fingers. These are tiny little minuscule things, but it does make a difference, because if you've just cleaned it, then you get all fingerprints all over the boot. Would I change the engine? I think if I was moving forward, I probably would, but that would be more of a financial decision than just changing it for changing its sake. Get that a bit more central, I think, because obviously, like I said, it was a lot more expensive. For me, I don't see how this Cayman GTS will be much better than just a standard Cayman S, and they're pretty much a lot cheaper as well. Although, as you will know, cars have gone absolutely through the roof now when it comes to second-hand value, which brings me on to why the timing, we really don't want to pull out on anyone here, why the timing, that's why she's good. That's why, yeah, right, okay, we'll go back to, we've reached the speed limit, we'll slow down now. The timing of me buying this car was absolutely perfect, because it hasn't really lost anything. I always think it's important when you're in a car like this that you keep checking the values, you keep checking how much they're going for, how much maybe you can get for it if you do want to get out of it. Now, I don't really have any ambition to get out of this unless something better comes along, which it might well do. Like my financial position hasn't changed since I bought it, which you could say is good, you could say isn't that good. Obviously, you always want to be pushing forward in your business and things like that. But for me, it's nice knowing that your money's pretty safe in something, which I think if you buy other brands or other cars, maybe it's not. And I know that you can't class a car as an investment. This isn't going to make money, not really. If it holds money, it doesn't lose a lot, then that's great, that's fantastic. I told you earlier that the X4 has gone, so this has been the only car I had, which has had pros and cons really, because although it's the only car you have and maybe it's not quite as practical, that doesn't mean that it's not financially sensible, because obviously I was paying for 2 cars initially and now we're only paying for 1, and the 1 car I'm paying for shouldn't really lose that much money. So essentially it almost feels like your car isn't really costing you that much and you're in a nice car. I think this is a nice car myself personally. I'm sure some of you agree and some of you won't agree. But would I want to put my money into something else that would potentially tank a load of money? Probably not. I mean, especially if you've got two cars, which a lot of people, if you are driving one of these, it will be your second car. I think you can daily drive it. I've shown you can daily drive it as well. Obviously golf clubs in the back, I've got luggage and stuff in the front. Obviously if you're going out with your friends, or if you're picking someone up, I'm picking a friend up for a wedding at the weekend, and we're also taking his son. I can't pick them up in this, so we're just gonna have to go in a different car, which is a bit annoying, because obviously you do want to be able to help your friends out and help your family out and stuff like that. But I mean, unless you can afford like a 911 or something with rear seats, if you want to stay in a Porsche, you're going to go Taycan, you're going to go 4x4 Macan Cayman, or even the new electric one, which is Taycan, is it? Yeah, Taycan and Panamera. I thought I'd said Panamera, but I said Taycan. So realistically, that's not a sports car. What are you doing there? Realistically, what are you doing? Anyway, realistically, that is not a sports car. So you're not going to get the same impression as this, you're not going to have the same fun as it. I know a lot of people who drive some Porsches say that you do have a lot of fun in a Panamera, you can have just as much fun in a Taycan. I haven't driven one, so I can't comment on it, but there's certainly some cars that I've driven that don't live up to expectation when it does come to being practical and being fun. This has been incredibly fun. Practicality wise, it's been okay. The roof box has massively helped. We've taken it to Scotland, we've taken it to the south coast with 2 sets of golf clubs and luggage, and it's been absolutely fine. But without that roof box, it might not have been so practical. I might not have put as many miles on it. I've put 6,000 miles on this in 6 months, which is quite a lot when you think about it. And that's why, if I was given a really good offer, I might potentially shift it on, because I'd be ploughing more miles on it. If I'm going to keep daily driving it, it's always going to be around 1,000 miles a month. So when you think about it, I've had good value out of it. It's been okay to insure. Practicality wise, not bad. And fuel wise, we're getting around 29 to the gallon. I do quite a bit of motorway driving, so that helps. But when we are on B roads, I like to have legal, safe fun. So it probably evens itself out. But you can probably hear we're getting on the motorway now, so we're nearly at work. I'm going to leave this video there. Guys, I do think this is the best Porsche for the money personally. Get in the comments and let me know what you think. Apart from that, I know Laura's back on the channel in the coming days. It is great to be back. I'll see you all at some point in the near future. Bye!